Here we are at Emerald City Comics, and I'm here with one of the best Power Rangers, the Red Ranger from Time Force, Jason Faunt. How are you doing today?
I'm good, guys. Thanks for having me.
So what brought you out to Emerald City this weekend?
Well, you know, when the pandemic started, we lost the ability to do Comic-Cons, we lost the ability to film, we lost the ability to come see our fans, so we decided that we would start doing comic book store appearances. We could do it safely, socially distanced, and it gives us a chance to still come out and meet the fans, help the comic book stores out a bit, and it just seems to be a win for everybody.
I believe Jason David Frank's doing the same thing as well, isn't he?
Yeah, he started all this up with what we call the PPP, or Power Ranger Protection. So he started doing this, and then with the Legend of the White Dragon that we have coming out, stay tuned for that, we just decided to start going to different parts of the country. So as he's doing certain cities, I'm doing others, and then hopefully we kind of crisscross and we kind of share information of where good places to go is.
That's awesome. So when you first did Power Rangers was, what, 19 years ago? So, and I've known you cameoed back on a few times. How does it feel knowing after 19 years, Power Rangers is still huge? There's kids that are growing up watching you that are my age, are fans, and even little ones now watching you that look at you as a role model. How does that feel for you?
It's always surprising and humbling at the same time. I mean, you know, when we film the show, as an actor, you audition and you get the job and you do the best you can, and you don't really expect it to continue on this upward trajectory years later. So it shocked us all. And then, you know, the show continued 27 years later. I don't think anybody knew that at the time. And somehow we've, Time Force has positioned itself of what they considered some of the better seasons of Power Rangers, and I'm always excited about that.
Before you became a Power Ranger, were you a fan of the franchise already?
You know, I was very familiar with it. I knew all about it. I was actually older when I did the show, so when Power Rangers came out, I was already in college. So I was very familiar with the show, but I didn't really know of the show on a personal level. But when I got the job, I knew, like, oh my God, this is big. But we thought Power Rangers was getting close to ending when we were ending it. We didn't know.
That would keep going and going.
We had no idea.
Going.
Yeah, no idea. So, so I knew of the show. I wasn't a fan of the show, but of course I am very much now.
And I know you worked on another franchise of doing mocap, Resident Evil. How did that come about?
Well, that's another Power Rangers connection. So Ruben Langdon, who was a stuntman on Power Rangers, started working over at a place called Just Cause Productions, who then started doing motion capture for video games. And Ruben had brought me in for auditions for several games, didn't get them. That's what happens as an actor. And then eventually Resident Evil came along, and then they just went, you know, Leon Kennedy, you know, I saw the audition for it, but it just lined up. And then I got a chance to be Leon in Resident Evil Vendetta and 6, and hopefully get to do him again at some point.
Now, you mentioned Legend of, what movie was it? Let's go ahead and talk about a little Kickstarter that I know about.
Yes.
So let's see what you can talk about that.
Well, Legend of the White Dragon, so Jason David Frank partnered with Bat and the Sun, and Bat and the Sun has done a ton of amazing work on their YouTube channel. If you haven't checked them out, they've got like 2.5 million subscribers now, and they wanted to create a darker, older, grittier version of this Power Rangers franchise that we've all been a part of. So they decided to create our own IP, individual property, that would have Power Rangers in it, but not be Power Rangers, but kind of give you the same flair. So they created the story. We actually started our first day of shooting yesterday, and we're going to create a feature film. We raised the money, so we're self-funded, which means nobody can tell us no, and which is awesome.
There's a comic book for it, too.
They're talking comic books, they're talking merchandise, so we're excited to kick this off the ground and create our own franchise, and that's what we hope Legend of the White Dragon becomes.
Okay, and a couple other questions. We talked about earlier, Mike Olowski, Blake, the fight coming up next year.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that? Who do you think, if you could put money down on who would win, who do you think would win?
Well, I know that they're both very, very skilled martial artists and fighters, but at the end of the day, Blake is just much, much bigger. And that's why there's what they call weight classes, you know. So I don't know how much Mike weighs right now, but I know Blake's very, very big. So I got to go with probably with Blake Foster on that one.
That's interesting.
Yep.
And so, where can everybody find you at? Follow you if they want to pick up any autographed merchandise. How can they reach you for that?
Sure. So jasonfaunt.com is my personal website. Everything can be ordered as autographed, delivered right to your door, jasonfaunt.com. And then Instagram is where I primarily am. It's at Jason Faunt, and on there I personally handle that. So when you comment on pages, I see everything. I try to be very, very interactive to the fans, and that's where I post all of my upcoming appearances. So at Jason Faunt, jasonfaunt.com, and follow the Legend of the White Dragon page, because that's where the updates will be announced first for the movie coming up.
Awesome. Thank you again for coming out to Emerald City. I know we're going to see you tomorrow at what comic shop?
We'll be at Mez Comics in Bradenton, Florida tomorrow.
Awesome. Thank you again. We'll talk to y'all later.